Alright, welcome back to part 2 or 3, I think it's like 2.5, of my office slide remodel. So yesterday I washed all the walls down, taped everything off, and primed it, so it's already white. So now you can see what it's kind of gonna look like. But I haven't painted since I was like 14 or something and painted my room, so it was definitely a learning curve. I asked other RVers who have painted their RV what they used. I searched a lot. So what I learned is everyone just says clean it, and I'm like, okay, but with what? So I got this TSP, which was recommended. You can do, I guess, just vinegar, water. I just did this because it was cheap and easy. Frog tape was also recommended. It's to be determined if it's any good because I haven't taken the tape off. And the last thing, so the primer I use is PPG or Gildan Gripper. It's the same thing. What I learned when I talked to the guy who works for Gildan PPG is that so this is the paint I'm gonna use. There's a zero VOS. That actually means so you won't get a headache and you won't get high from the smells. So this didn't actually smell at all. I don't think the paint is gonna smell either. I see all the brush strokes right now, so I'm a little nervous. Hopefully the paint is better. I did start to second guess whether or not I should have painted this trim because obviously it stands out from the whole rest of the RV, but I really like the white and I'm going to paint it all white. Now we're going to just finish up painting the slide and I'll put it all back together. Okay, so I got it all painted. Here's my tips, now that I know what I know. What people don't tell you is the truth. It all looks great in photos, but of course up close is not always that great. I'm actually very impressed that more of the carpet is not painted. I did my best. I laid down paper because my cats like to chew on plastic and that would have been a nightmare trying to get them to stop chewing on plastic. The painter's tape, so frog tape was recommended. You have to take the tape off 30 minutes or less after you've done painting. So like it's kind of set but not really set because the acrylic and the paint will adhere to the tape and when you pull it off it will pull off some of the paint. So I had that happen in the bathroom and a little bit under here, so all I did was just sand it down. I just took a paintbrush, like a painter's paintbrush, a little one I have, and I just touched up all the areas. I'll go ahead and show you some of the bathroom stuff. It was pretty bad and I was immediately like, what the heck did we do? This looks like shit. Sorry mom, this looks like... Another thing that happened is some of the drips. So I just sanded it down over here on the edge of the slide. It had some drips, so I sanded that down and then just repainted it. I went through a roller coaster of emotions going, what the heck am I doing, to oh my gosh this looks amazing, back to what the heck did I do, this was a horrible idea, and right now I can tell you that I friggin' love it and I can't wait to paint the rest of it. The problem was that everyone recommended Wooster brand brushes, and if you don't get a right brush you're gonna have brush strokes, and so I bought the Wooster brand brushes and they were leaving brush strokes and I was like, I bought what they said to buy. So I ended up getting the silver tip. I'll link it below. It's called the silver tip, like super smooth, and this does not leave brush marks. And the other thing is I bought Wooster rollers. It was also not coating as much and leaving brush marks, so Damien recommended these things. So on the very last coat we used this and I was like, holy cow, I'm ready to paint the whole thing. So I literally went from tears to, okay, I can do this. So these are a must. I am very happy with it. After I painted the trim, which honestly the trim was kind of the hardest part, you have to make sure the walls I didn't sand, I just cleaned, but you have to sand down all the brown and like the faux wood or whatever the heck it is so that the primer really sticks. Probably if I was going to do it again I would have done 2 coats, but it actually looks pretty good. These blinds, so I actually got these from IKEA. They're just roller shades. I think they were like $40. They fit the window perfectly. Luckily I had already put them in before, so the drill marks are already there and I don't have to drill new holes. So here is a tip. If you want to use your existing roller blinds that come with your RV, You totally can. So you can get rid of the whole valance and just keep the blind. Let me go grab it. Hold please. So I just kept the blind that was inside the long one because ideally I would love to get those, but they don't have them long enough. So until I can find the blind that I want for this window, I'm just using this old one because why not? So I took it out of the old valance wooden box, threw that away, and I kept this little spring part that holds on to the blind. So it just goes onto here. All I did was we went to Home Depot or Lowe's, I can't remember, and got just a regular L bracket. I wanted one that's far enough away from the window. So we got this. We got a screw and nut bolt. Obviously, maybe find a shorter one because when it goes on the wall, it's gonna stick out like that, which no one's really gonna notice, and it's just temporary. But if you wanna leave them on longer, you should probably get one that's a little more flush to it. But this is working great. It holds it there, and I don't know, $5. So you can really just use the blinds that came with it without all the wooden stuff that just brings it down. These are the screws I use. It's all multi-material, and you gotta make sure it's not too long because one screw was a little too long and it started to come through the outside of the slide. So make sure you use the right length of screws so that it doesn't go through. I'm gonna continue hanging these up and I'm gonna put my office back together, which I'm really excited about because I've been working on the couch on my lap and I miss my desk.